Hi everyone, Joe here. The Save the Crafty YouTuber video hop is a celebration of card making video tutorials created by a group of talented crafters of all different styles and levels. So we're coming together to give you, our viewers, a chance to discover other amazing crafters and card makers and help reach monetization goals. All you have to do is watch, like the videos and consider subscribing. And click the link in the video description below for the hop to visit the next video. Please indicate if you are in the US or international because there is prizes along each video. For me, I'll be giving away a $25 gift voucher to the Wow Embossing store. So please comment away. For my card today, I'm using some of our sponsors' products, which is Gina K Designs and of course Wow Embossing powder. I'll be using two new powders that are from a new trio from Wow Embossing, and it's from Seth Apter. Now Seth Apter has created a beautiful set of trios called Metalz, and we're going to be using the Crusty Copper. And you'll see why it's called Crusty Copper when you have a look at the sentiment that I heat emboss. Now one of my most favorite all-time products of Wow is the Opaque Bright White. Now this is amazing to use and to heat emboss because it captures all the fine details, which it does in this Gina K stamp. So this Gina K stamp is a little bit larger than normal, so I have used a larger white cardstock, and this is from Ranger, and I love the bright white of the Ranger cardstock as well, and how it can take a lot of levels of coloring and saturation. To heat set this, I have used heat setting 2 in my Wow Embossing powder tool. Now this has got 2 settings, this tool. So the level 1, which is slower speed, fan speed and lower heat, is really good for drying and mixed media. But if you really want to heat set, use heat setting 2. And I will be starting my colouring. Now for my colouring, I'm using some Faber-Castell pencils. I've brought these out. I had to dust them off. I hadn't used them for ages. And for the pink pencil combination colours, I'm using Dark Flesh, Cinnamon and Pink Madder Lake. And to apply this ink, I've used a Pentel Aqua brush. And I'm just going to pick up the ink by pressing my aqua brush on the actual pencil lead itself and then colouring the image in. So I start off colouring with the cinnamon, which looks like almost like a really nude beigey colour, and then I deepen all the actual petals with the Dark Flesh and Pink Madder. I really like the neutral tone, so I don't use too much of the actual Pink Madder Lake, and I just add that for little pops of pink if I felt like it needed a little bit of depth in some of the areas. So I go ahead and pencil color this in, and I work my way through all the floral arrangement, which is a really large image and it's so beautiful. For the greens, I do use a earth green yellowish tone, again from Faber-Castell, and that's what I use for the outside, which you'll see a little bit later. So just a reminder, this is a video hop. Please click on the next hopper in the video description below, and leave a comment as well. We would really love to hear from you. It's such a privilege to play part in what Justine has organised. I will also link her blog and her YouTube in the description. So she would have created an actual playlist of all of our videos, which we're super privileged and lucky to be part of, and that way it's all in one place as well. I really hope to hear from you, and I would love to read all your comments as well. Now once I make my way through all the green, if you can see on the top right corner of my actual watercolor panel there, I have secured it down with some washi tape. It's actually a really pretty washi tape, and I don't like using it for this kind of thing, but it was within arm's reach, so I used it. That washi tape's from Alexandra Renke, and I love because it's the thickness. I couldn't find my purple tape at the time, and that just worked and did the job just as well. So just adding some separate colors throughout the side there, of the beautiful green and just adding the little bits. Now, because I did a heat embossing, it's actually making sure your coloring is staying within the heat set of the floral image, and the color pools within the image itself and not outside. I mean, I think it's a really great way for starting in watercoloring. I'm not a watercolor artist, so I do use this method a lot because I'm really not a colorist that can stay within the lines. I've got the Altenew Thank You sentiment here. So I've die cut it with white cardstock. I've got some A4 copy paper that I've folded in half. I'm going to do my technique, which is direct ink to paper here, and I'm pressing really heavily because I want this saturated with the Wow Embossing ultra slow drying ink. And then I'm going to open that up where I will pour the Crafty Copper Metalz embossing powder. And I've got a little tiny pin here where I pick it up and I set it aside. Then I will funnel the leftover back into the jar. You can use coffee filters. This is just a way that I've always done it. I always have scrap piece of paper around, so that's why I've always never had to use the coffee filters. And I also use, so I don't burn my fingers, the pin to hold the actual sentiment in place. Now for my protective surface there, I've actually got a Tim Holtz glass mat in the full size. And again, with heat embossing, I have used heat setting 2 because I really want to melt this embossing powder, and it looks beautiful. And see all the shimmer and shine? There will be a close-up picture at the end, and you'll find this particular embossing powder has some granules in it where it's got some black tones, some clear tones, some copper. It's just so beautiful, and it's a good mix. I've used my 3M mounting tape there to adhere that. Now that is a 5x7 card base. So I've just made the actual panel and trimmed it down to size, so it's a 1/4 inch around all the edges. And I'm just going to place a lot of foam mount tape behind the sentiment. And the only thing now, really, I found this card was really simple and it was so elegant and beautiful that I just added a little bit of Pretty Pink Posh embellishments. So here I've got the espresso. It's almost like a Diamante type of rhinestone. And I'm just going to place this down where I feel like I'm going to evenly spread this out. And then what I'm going to adhere that down with is Ranger Multi Matte Medium. It's one of my go-tos when it comes to adhering down embellishments like your rhinestones, your pearls, and your sequins. Especially your clear sequins, it dries quite transparent without a glossy sheen, and it shows the true color always of the actual embellishment. And that really finishes my card off for today. I don't do anything more. I leave it as is. I tend to over embellish, so I try to be careful and err on the side of caution and go less is more. Alright, and there's my card. You can kind of see that texture of that Metalz embossing powder. And I'll show a close-up here with a close-up of the actual sentiment. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to read your comments. Have a lovely day. Also, I wanted to thank Justine and all the sponsors who's contributed to this video hop. So every hop along the way has a prize. I hope you make a comment on every